What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Cjthecheesedj here, and we are back with another Arc Insight for you guys today. And today, guys, we're pitting the Spino against the Shadowmane. So, guys, if you're not aware of what the Arc Insights are, pretty much we compare their base stats, their movement speed, their gathering rate, and then we pit them in a battle to the death. So, guys, we've done the Shadowmane with pretty much every other big carnivore, bar like the Giga, which, honestly, I can tell you right now, the Giga will kick this guy's ass, except for the Spino. So I thought I'd bring the Spino in to see how he goes against the Shadowmane. And I honestly reckon the Shadowmane will still win, just because these guys are super strong at the moment. So nonetheless, let's get into their base stats here, and we'll take a look at who's slightly stronger. And I can already tell you probably... Whoa, chill. You can probably already tell who takes the cake in that category. All right, so as we get around here, finally, there we go. Alright, so let's take a look at the Spino first. So the Spino has 700 health, 350 stamina, 350 weight, and then 125.8 melee damage percentage. So, you know, not bad for a level 1, obviously. It's its base stats. If we come into the Shadowmane here, 825 health, 450 stamina, 425 weight, and then 125.8% melee damage. So already the Shadowmane stats are shitting all over the Spino, which isn't a good sign. So we'll go over the Spino's damage here as well. So it's got two forms. It's got its quadrupedal form and then its bipedal form. Now, as you can see here, its bipedal form does deal more damage. So we hit for 75 damage and we also attack a little bit faster. Quadrupedal form, you can see that we hit for 50 and it's sort of the same attack speed. Now, while we're here, I'll go over the Spino's abilities real quick. Like I said, one of the abilities is you can go bipedal. It gives you the ability to spin on the spot. So you don't have to worry about its large turning radius when you're in quadrupedal form. Quadrupedal form, however, gives you a bonus move speed, so you can move faster over everything, which, as you can see, we are moving faster than we would be in bipedal form. Now, as well as that, the Spino has a hydration buff, very similar to the Shadowmane's, and if we come out of that, you can see here that our bipedal attack now hits for 86 instead of the 75, and our quadrupedal attack hits for 57 instead of 50. So you can see there that it does make a little bit of a difference. Now, obviously, because we are only level 1, it's not going to scale massively. But, you know, the higher level you are, the more damage and everything that you're going to get. So you can see that health, regeneration, speed, and damage are all boosted. Now, if we come back over here to the Shadowmane, we'll showcase that guy's abilities. Now, I believe that that is all of the Spino's abilities. I don't think he has anything else. Oh, he has a roar. But that's it. And you can do that roar while in bipedal and quadrupedal mode. And that roar is just purely cosmetic. Now, if we come over to the Shadowmane, you guys most likely know what it does. So I'll go over it quickly. It's got the warp attack. It's got the cloaking ability. It's got the mate boosting. It's got the jump, which you can see there we're able to pull. The males have the ability to boost the stats of other teams as long as it's mate boosted. And the females can cloak other dinos behind herself if she is mate boosted. They also receive a hydration buff very similarly to the Spino. Their attacks ramp up and they are able to do a super attack at the end of that attack. You can see that shortly here. And you can see their damage as well. They hit from the 44 mark to the 60 mark, depending on what kind of attack they use. So the bites do less, their clawing do more. And they also have a Thorn Mail ability where they apply lower damage and a small amount of damage back onto whatever it is that is attacking them. Whew, that's a lot. Now, both of these guys can swim, but we'll go over their movement speed first. We've done plenty of tests for the Shadowmane, so we'll keep this one quick. I think it's about 7.5 seconds, but we'll find out because this is a slightly different gate structure that we're using. And we're away. And you can see here, its stamina usage is also really good. And about 7 seconds worth of sprinting, so not bad. It also does have a normal jump ability, which you can use without utilizing the ability bar that you see above the Shadowmane. If we come onto the Spino here, we're going to go into quadrupedal form because quadrupedal form is faster. And we're going to sprint straight ahead. And we're off. The quadrupedal form also deals extra damage, as you guys saw there. And we're looking at about 8 seconds for the Spino. So it is slightly slower than the Shadowmane, which is a shame because I was expecting the Shadowmane, the Spino to be actually a little bit faster than the Shadowmane. And you can see there, the Spino's stamina is also out at that time. So guys, now we're going to do Darrious. You don't want to come to this party, mate. I can promise you. Please don't do it. I tried to warn you. So guys, now we're going to do a resource gathering test. So we'll bring in 2 Spinos once again. There's the first one. There's the second one. We're going to kill them both. Boom. Oh, sorry, mate. I killed you too early. We're going to kill them both. Alrighty, so we're going to use the bipedal form on the Spino because it does hit harder. And that is most likely the form that you will be using to harvest anyway because it will deal more damage, therefore netting you more resources. 139 hide and 107 meat. I actually think the Shadowmane beats that. So 139 and 107. Let's take a look here. Yes, it does. 136 meat and 121 hide. So it does gather more than the Spino, which is interesting. Because once again, the Spino does have higher melee damage. So I was expecting it to harvest more. Nonetheless, that's the harvesting and the testing on the land. We're going to go over to the ocean now and see who is faster in the water. So we've already prepared some Spino, a Spino and a Shadowmane over here. All I need is a saddle, and the saddle for the Spino is learned at level 71. You can see there is its crafting cost. And I did forget to mention that the Shadowmane has naturally inbuilt armor, so you don't need to worry about providing it with a saddle. It will automatically have armor based on what level it is when you tame it. So yeah, now if we come into the water here, the downside of the Spino in comparison to the Shadowmane is that the Spino actually has an oxygen stat. So that kind of sucks. But nonetheless, you can see here that the Spino is relatively slow. It's not very fast. You can't use bipedal mode in the water either. So do keep that in mind, but we do get the hydration buff as well underwater. So let's come over to the Shadowmane, and I can guarantee you that the Shadowmane will be faster in the water than the Spino, obviously. Let's jump on this big boy. And yeah, you can see there, this guy absolutely flies underwater. We're still able to use our teleport strike as well. You can see here, we're able to lock on a bunch of different dudes and hit them all as well. So Shadowmane definitely takes the cake here on the speed tests, which kind of sucks for the poor Spino. It's not looking good for him. I don't think this battle to the death is going to pan out very well in the Spino's favor. Okay, so now that we've covered their stats, their abilities, and everything like that, in terms of taming them, all you need to do for the Spino is knock it out, feed it raw prime fish meat. As for the Shadowmane, you need to feed it filled fish baskets. Coelacanths will give you the best amount of taming effectiveness, and you can use tents to trap the fish and then place your fishing baskets down. So guys, that's pretty much all the information you will need on both of these guys. Let's go over their battle to the death, which is going to be rather interesting. So we're going to drop all of this. I still believe the Shadowmane will come out on top. The Spino does hit slightly harder. However, the Shadowmane will most likely utilize its charged attack, and I don't think the Spino will utilize its bipedal form attack. As well as that, the Shadowmane has inbuilt armor, so what we're going to do is we're actually going to test it both. We'll test it with the Shadowmane fighting the Spino without a saddle, and then the Spino with a saddle. So let's take the saddle off for now, and I'll bring you guys back when this is all ready to go. Alrighty guys, and the battle is about to begin. We have unclaimed the Shadowmane and set that to aggressive. The Spino is whistled to attack the Shadowmane. Without further ado, let it begin. I don't know what the Spino is doing. As well as that, all the debuffs that the Shadowmane provides, you can see there that it drastically reduces the Spino's damage because of its Thorn Mail. You can see there the poor Spino is getting destroyed. Yep. So we've got the winner. The Shadowmane wins. Surprise, surprise. The Spino is actually probably the best contender so far for the Shadowmane. Purely because of its base attack speed, I would say, and its extra damage. I would say that the Shadowmane is the Spino is a very close contender. So what we're going to do now, same situation, except this time we are going to give the Spino a saddle. And then what else we're going to do is we're also going to pit these guys against each other in the water. Not in the water, sorry, on the water's edge. So that they both receive the hydration buff to see who walks out with that one. Now, I'm assuming it will still probably be the Shadowmane. But we'll see what happens. This is going to be an interesting one. Because after seeing that fight, I do believe the Spino could possibly beat the Shadowmane. So we'll chuck a saddle on him and see how that goes. Alrighty guys, and they are geared up to fight. Let's get this battle underway and see who comes out on top. So the Spino is actually able to keep the Shadowmane at bay for quite a bit of time there with its knockback from its attacks, which is super interesting. And this actually could turn the tide of the battle depending on how much damage the Spino takes with its saddle. But I still think the Shadowmane will possibly win purely because of... No way! It was a tie! It wasn't. Guys, this hasn't happened at all since we've tested the Shadowmane. Every battle that we've used the Shadowmane against, it has won. This is a first. The Spino was actually able to defeat the Shadowmane. Granted, at its own, the cost of its own life, it still defeated the Shadowmane. So the Spino is actually our closest contender to taking out the Shadowmane. That's super cool and interesting. All right, so what we're going to do now, we're going to come down to the water's edge where we have our other two contenders, and we're going to park them in the water here so that they both start off with the hydration buff. Actually, we should probably line them up a little bit better. There we go. So you guys saw there that the Shadowmane did have the hydration buff. We're going to walk around the corner here and also put this guy in the water and give him the hydration buff. So they'll both have the hydration buff when we get them to fight. Why am I stuck inside the Spino for? And we're going to do the same situation here. We're going to get the Spino to attack. We're going to unclaim the Shadowmane. And we're going to see who comes out on top again. Once again, we are going to leave the Spino's saddle on, I think. I think that's the better option. I think it does make it fairer because the Shadowmane does have the inbuilt armor. I am going to move the Spino a little bit closer so that nothing else can really get in the way of this fight for the Shadowmane anyway. All right. So that these guys are now ready to go and positioned. I'm a bit worried about the dodos getting involved. Let's see who comes out on this one on top. Both of them have the hydration buff. The Spino's just attacking wildly, which is actually working in its favor because, once again, its knockback is actually keeping the Shadowmane at bay, which is nuts. The Shadowmane's only started attacking now. So it could look rather dire for the Shadowmane. This is... Come on, Spino. I believe... We have a winner! The Spino did slightly edge ahead, but only because it survived with 7... No, it's going to die. No, the Thornmail effect has run out. This is incredible, guys. We finally have a creature that is capable of beating the Shadowmane, which is absolutely crazy. So there you have it. The Spino only just managed to edge ahead of the Shadowmane. If it had gotten one more attack in, it would have been all over. So the Spino's bipedal attacks do the knockback effect, which actually stopped the Shadowmane from connecting its hits, which is absolutely incredible. And I can tell you right now, I was expecting the Shadowmane to win that fight. So guys, hopefully you enjoyed this one. Let me know what arc insights you guys want to see down below in the comments. But other than that, guys, thanks very much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.